Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WTF is Movies. No, that's... Whatever. This is my movie rundown for March 2017. I only saw 2 movies this month. It was a bit of a quiet month for movies, to be honest. I don't think that much came out, really. Frame for the thumbnail. I don't think that many movies came out, and also I was rather busy, so I only saw 2. There was another movie I wanted to see, which I didn't, but I can't even remember what it is. It probably wasn't that important. I'll probably see it next month. Anyway, so a bit of a quiet month, so a bit of a short video, but these are 2 movies that I kind of have a fair amount to say about, I think, so let's get down to it, shall we? First of all, Kong Skull Island. Now, there was a lot of hype for this movie, I'd heard. I don't keep up with that sort of stuff. I don't really watch trailers, and I'm not the kind of person to sit on Reddit and be like, oh, the movie's coming out. I kind of... For me, I don't care about a movie till it's out, and then I'll just watch it and I'll make a judgment on it just based on the movie. I don't base it around the hype train. But as far as I can tell, people really like the look of this movie. And I did see a trailer once when I was at the cinema when I got there a little early, and it looked good. I mean, the tone was a bit weird, and people questioned me on Twitter afterwards saying, "What was the tone like?" Because for some trailers, the tone was very comic and very, very action movie, and others it was very serious. It was a bit more like sort of Cloverfield, and it's kind of both. Weirdly, like I really liked it. Like it has some one of the big problems with these kind of movies, these big blockbuster kind of action movies with a lot of CGI in, is that they just get really fucking messy. And Transformers is the biggest example of that. They just get really messy, and the cinematography isn't terribly good. This has incredible cinematography, and I'd say that it's incredible cinematography even for like an Oscar movie. I'd say it's Oscar-worthy cinematography in a kind of more of a popcorny action movie. There's some incredible shots where where Kong's in the movie, so it's not really a spoiler, but there's helicopters going around Kong, and there's a camera focused on Kong. I'm gonna have to demonstrate with my hands. This is the advantage of using a camera. I'm going to use my phone as an example. So if this phone's Kong, right, boom, 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 I'm King Konger, and then the camera would be where you were, static, sort of. I say you, the camera, or maybe panning around slightly, and then as the camera's panning to the left, it would go through the helicopter. So like the helicopter, it sort of come through frame, and you'd see sort of like outside the front window of the helicopter as it went through the side of the helicopter where people shoot out. And it does this about 2 helicopters as the camera moves through the helicopters, and it shows King Kong, and King Kong's turning and doing all this stuff. And it's a very hard shot to explain because it's not really something I've seen before. It was a very interesting shot, and I think remember that it was a gorgeous movie. There's some incredibly beautiful just screenshot moments in that film. I think the acting's fairly good. It's got Sam Jackson as... It's not really a villain necessarily in a Kong film. It's more the antagonist. You've got the military one who wants to do... So, you've got Sam Jackson, you've got Loki, Mr. Loki Man, I can't remember his fucking name, and you've got John Goodman, who I love John Goodman, love John Goodman to death, which he's not in it as much as I'd like him to be, but whatever. And it was just good. Kong is good. It looks visually great. The story's not overly interesting. It's a pretty basic story, but I think the acting's very good and the performances are very good, and I just liked it, really. I just enjoyed it. It was a fun movie, and it was a well-shot movie. John Wick 2 didn't have a particularly interesting movie, but it was a good, solid movie, and this, I wouldn't put it on the same level as John Wick 2, or John Wick 1, obviously. But it's close to being up there. I think this is a pretty... I struggle saying very good movie, so I'm not going to. And I think it's a fairly good movie. I think it's a good movie, and I do recommend seeing it. And it's, again, one of those movies I do recommend seeing in the cinema just because it's so visually impressive, much like Moana. And you want to experience that in the big screen, in the 4K, and and stuff like that. So I do recommend if you get a chance because it's so visually impressive and just so well shot. And Sam Jackson, I'm a Sam Jackson part. Can't do a Sam Jackson impression. and Loki Man being like, I'm very serious, and Loki, and then John Goodman being, I'm John Good. I'm going to stop this. Anyway, next movie, Beauty and the Beast. Spoke about this a lot on Twitter. What you may not know about me is I'm a big Disney animated movie fan, right? I'm a huge Disney animated movie fan. My favorite Disney animated movie is Aladdin. And Beauty and the Beast has never really been a movie that, to me, spoke to me. I liked Beauty and the Beast a lot, but it's not one of the movies I went, I love Beauty and the Beast. You know, it's not up there in my Disney. It's, you know, but it's still a Disney animated film, and I still love it. And one of the things about the original Beauty and the Beast, the 2D Beauty and the Beast, funnily enough, the original cartoon version of Beauty and the Beast, was it had a lot of charm that was brought with the animation, with the traditional 2D hand drawn animation. It had an incredible amount of charm as a result of that. And this removes all of it. And this is the hard thing I have talking about this film, because if this film had came out and the original didn't exist, this would be a fairly good film. It would be a good film. It's well shot. The acting is reasonably good, aside from Emma Watson, which I'll get into in a second. You know, it's the performances are good, the songs are good. You know, it's fine. But the fact is, the original does exist. Like, the original does exist, and because of that, this is just an inferior, pointless remake. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why this exists. I don't know why it exists. It's the same story, but without any of the charm. And it frustrates me because of that. It's a frustrating movie to me because of that. You know, like, one of the most glaring examples would be Lumiere. I'm going to put a picture of Lumiere up from the original. This is the original Lumiere from the original cartoon Beauty and the Beast. As you can see, he is a candlestick. He's a candelabra. Candelabra? Ooh, candelabra. Doesn't have any legs. He's got a little thing he has to hop around on. And he's got his hands are candles, and his head is a candle. His head's a candle, and his mouth is where the candle meets the thing. A lot of charm, an incredibly expressive character, and incredible that you can get so much expression out of such a normal object. And then we're going to compare that to Ewan McGregor's Lumiere in the new one. Look how fucking boring he looks. He's a guy made of bronze with candles where hands should be and a candle on top of his head. He's just a fucking guy. There's no charm to him whatsoever. There's no charm to him. And his performance is fairly decent. You know, there's nothing wrong with his performance, but it's just the character itself has no charm. When I'm looking at Lumiere in it, I'm not feeling what I felt in the original. I'm not feeling that kind of charm and the charisma and everything. And I don't feel that. Similarly, Miss Potts, if you look at Miss Potts from the original, you can see the snout is where the nose would be, and you know that's very expressive. The mouth moves a lot, very expressive character. And then you look at the Miss Potts from the new one, where it is just a face painted on the side of a pot. Charm, it's gone. Ooh, where did we put the charm? Oh, I don't know. We've lost it. Oh, it's poofed away, and it's frustrating to me. Like Cogsworth in this one, he looks good. Cogsworth, you know, I'm going to put those two on screen just now, just next to each other. He looks pretty fine. I mean, I don't know how you fuck that up. He's a clock. Editing, Matt, just interjecting here. I edited in those pictures, and no, they did fuck it up. They made him overcomplicated, they made him look shitty, and they got rid of all the fucking charm. For fuck's sake, fuck! For Christ's sake, you know, and Ian McKellen as Cogsworth, I think, was quite fun. But again, I don't think Ian McKellen and Ewan McGregor had a very good back and forth. I didn't feel with them as characters. I didn't feel like they clicked together, you know. I just had no charm. Then, you know, you've got Belle's father, who for some reason in this isn't an inventor. He's a painter now. I don't know what the point of that change was. It just felt like an unnecessary change for no, as far as I can tell, no purpose. And then, you know, you've got Garçon, who is played by, I can't remember his name, but I do like him as an actor. The guy who plays Garçon. He did a fairly okay job as Garçon. I think he did a reasonably good job as Garçon, but, you know, you've got his neck is as thick as, I can't remember the lyric, but, you know, he's not that buff. He's a buff guy, but he's not that buff, and he's not as buff as I imagine Garçon to be. And then you've got LeFou, played by what's his name, who I also can't remember the name of, but I've liked him and stuff as well. And there was a big thing about LeFou being the first openly gay Disney character. He's not openly gay. I need to clarify. He's not openly gay. He's just he's like, he like, they make a comment about, why haven't you got a woman yet? And he goes, heh. And then there's like a couple of moments where he glances at a guy and he's like, ooh. And at the end of the movie, like, he's dancing, and then some, like, you know, when they swap partners, a guy comes in and they look at each other and they smile. That's not openly gay. He wasn't openly gay. Nobody knew he was gay. And it's lightly implied that he's gay. At best. It's lightly implied at best. Like, there is the complete possibility he's not at all gay, and he just doesn't like dating that much. Really. Like, it's so subtle, and it's such an irrelevant part of the movie that it's fucking worthless. And then you've got the song. I'm trying to structure this in my head a bit. I'm trying to get something good bad. There's a couple of new songs in it. One's called Evermore. That's performed by The Beast, and I really like that song. I've listened to that song a lot since. Again, there's a lot of songs, Beauty and the Beast and Taylor's Old as Time. They're the same songs, just sang by different people. Whatever, they're the same. I mean, they're the same song, but not by the original people who did it. So let's go. But The Beast, I liked. I half and half liked The Beast. The Beast to me, the performance by the guy who played the Beast, I thought was excellent. I thought that was the strongest point in the movie. The guy's performance as the Beast. He had a very good voice to him. He had a presence. His voice had a presence. And the way they filtered the voice was very nice. And the way he sang Evermore was beautiful. But the Beast is a character. Now, in the original, obviously, since it's animated, they sort of go a bit away with it. The Beast is hulking, and he's massive, and he's terrifying. He's this disgusting monster. And then, in a lot of scenes, he is this puppy dog, and that's kind of the whole point of the Beast, is that he does have this hysteria, but he is just a puppy dog, because he's just a scared child. You see that scene in the bath and all that in the original. In this, it's sort of different. Like, he never seems particularly threatening. He just looks like a handsome guy. Like, he looks like a handsome guy at a furry convention, is kind of what I'm... Like, if he was in a fantasy universe, like, if he was in, like, Lord of the Rings, he'd be a pretty handsome dude. Like, he wasn't... At no point did I consider him beastly or terrifying, which you should at some points, especially when, you meet him for the first time. It didn't feel like that, and that, I think, is more down to the character design than the acting. The character design, again, was... I don't understand why they did the character in CGI, because it looked like they could have just... Like, it's not an extreme enough change for CGI. Like, it looks like they could have just put him in a suit. Like, it looks a bit like a Chewbacca. Like, they could have done Chewbacca suit, and maybe the actor didn't want to do that, and maybe it was a hassle, and, doing some of the stunts and stuff in that, I suppose, yeah, but, like, some scenes where he's just talking, it's like, why? You could just... Worf exists. Chewbacca exists. Like, they've had the good prosthetics for years, and it would have looked a bit more natural, because the movie's really, really, really heavily CGI'd, and it's really quite annoying, because, it's just... I don't know. It's hard to explain. I don't like overuse of CGI, because to me it ruins a movie. That's why I really like Christopher Nolan as a director, because he'll only use CGI where it's necessary, where he can do a shot that he can't do in real life with CGI. Otherwise, he will do the shot in real. He will do the shot. He will flood the room with water. He will make the causeway spin. He'll do that because you can do that and it looks better. The product that you get out of it looks better. It just looks better. And that's the problem that, like, these kind of movies don't get. I don't think it's so... You're in a lot of these scenes and you're looking at Belle and it looks like Belle's the only thing in it that's real. It looks like in a lot of scenes, it just looks like she's on a green screen alone. And... that's a problem. That brings me on to fucking Emma Watson's performance, which I thought was just shit. It was a shit performance. Like, Emma Watson as an actress, right? The problem with Emma Watson as an actress is I don't think she's a particularly good actress, but it feels like she's just getting roles because she was famous from Harry Potter. Like, it doesn't feel like she's getting roles because she's a talented actress. It feels like she's getting roles because she's a okay actress who was in a big budget movie and people know who she is. She just had a very dry performance, a very just dull. Her emotion never seemed to change throughout the film. It was always this wistful charm to her. In every part of the movie, there's this wistful charm. Even when the Beast appears, even when her father's been killed, even when her father's been taken to the asylum, when she's running away, when she's sad, when she's happy, she always is just, I'm wistfully charming. Good for you, Belle. Good for you, Emma Watson. And I don't know whether to blame that necessarily on Emma Watson or the fact that clearly, in a situation like that where you are acting with just CG characters, it's very difficult to, get the back and forth. But at the same time, other actors manage that fine. Ian McKellen has done that, And I think it's probably a combination of, I think it's more Emma Watson, because she is that in pretty much every movie. She's this I'm gonna give you a little light smile and be like, tee, I'm Emma Watson. And it's kind of annoying. I didn't like her as Belle. I didn't like her as Belle at all. I think they probably should have found a talented, like much like Moana, where they did casting, because Moana they did casting calls for young Polynesian girls. Like the person who plays Moana never had an acting gig before. And she was incredible. She was incredible. She made that movie. And they could have done that with Beauty and the Beast. They could have done some good casting calls. Get a completely unknown actress that has a huge amount of talent and could have just excelled the movie forward, and they didn't. And it's a shame. And I didn't respect this movie. They didn't as well when they did the ballroom scene, the dancing scene. That famous shot where that famous sort of 2D, 3D shot where they sort of did that in Treasure Planet a bit, but where it's 2D and the room's rendered in 3D and they sort of move the camera around. They do this sort of beautiful panning shot when they're dancing. They don't do that same shot. They didn't recreate the shot in this, which that's a tiny thing, but that really bothered me for some reason. And I don't know. I just felt it didn't have any charm. It didn't have any charm. And that's what makes a Disney movie to me, is charm. They're charming movies. Even if, they have fucked up, but the story's not that interesting, they're charming. And this wasn't charming. This was fine. It was acceptable. It was fine. And that's the thing. I can't recommend this because the original exists. I can just say, watch the original. There's no reason to watch this over the original, ever. I can never think of an instance where you go, oh, I want to watch Beauty and the Beast. Oh, I'll watch the 3D, the fucking live action. Why? It's got less charm and nothing else. It's just, it frustrates me. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Watch the original. Don't bother. I mean, if you're curious, just wait till it's on Netflix and then watch it, because it will be on Netflix. It's trash. But that's just, if you're curious. I think Evermore, the song, is worth listening to, but you can listen to that on Spotify or whatever. So, yeah, I don't recommend Beauty and the Beast. As frustrating as it is, and I'm very frustrated because I know they're making a live action remake of Aladdin. And Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and a lot of that comes from Robin Williams. And Robin Williams, he's a little dead. He's just a little dead right now. So they'll just ruin Aladdin. Why, Disney? Stop this. It's so creatively pointless. There's no. They're just such cash grabs. There's no creative reason I can see that this should exist. There's no originality. It's a remake. There's no originality. There's no creative anything to it. It's just, let's remake it because we want to get some money. Oh, and it might be a bit interesting to remake it. No, stop. Fuck me. That really annoyed me. Anyway. Go see King Kong. Go see Kong Kong. Go see that in the cinema. It's not an incredible movie, but I think it's very good, and I think it's definitely worth seeing in the cinema. Beauty and the Beast. Don't bother. Just watch the original, and if you are really, really curious, wait till it's on fucking Netflix. And yeah, that was oh god, I'm at 19 minutes of this video now, even though 18. I don't know because I started recording a bit. 2 movies. I can talk a lot about movies, so I should see more movies next month. Bye.